All right, so the resilient ride in 2025 is coming together. Still working on some of the branding. Need to fix this a little bit. This is on our website, Cycling on Purpose. And if you go to events and Resilience Ride, it used to be called Resilience Ride. Now it's Resilient Ride. That will be fixed soon. But starting to get into the planning a little bit. I know for a fact that I basically have to go from here, Spokane, Liberty Lake, Washington, to Bozeman. From there, there's multiple routes that I can take. So that's why there's question marks right now. And I will be ending in Indianapolis, about 2,100 miles, regardless of kind of what route I pick. And so Missoula, Helena, that's could change too. One is more northern, Helena. One is a little bit further south. So there will be some changes happening to the route, but I do have a rough estimate, and I use Komoot, I think that's how it's pronounced, to map the ride, and estimating 45 days, not 45 consecutive days, because there will be some rest time. So I have to figure that out, what the rest time looks like. But essentially 45 days of riding. And that's averaging about 3.5 hours a day, which I think is doable. And you can see the route basically goes, it looks like it's taking me through Missoula, and kind of over to Bozeman. And after Bozeman's where it starts to head south and get out of Montana. This part of the route, whether I go through South Dakota or Nebraska, part of that will be dependent upon what the route of the RAGBRAI ride in Iowa will be, and that will be announced on January 25th. And I think the route changes every year. I'm going to participate in that, and so I need to be basically to the Iowa border, wherever it's going to start, by, I believe, July 19th. And so that will possibly change this route. If somehow the RAGBRAI is from the northwest part of Iowa to the southeast, ideal. But regardless, I will adjust my route accordingly, and so I can participate in that. RAGBRAI is a ride that happens in the state of Iowa every year. That is a cross-state ride from one end to the other. And I've never done it before. I hope that it always starts in the west and goes to the east. If it doesn't, then I won't be able to participate. But if it does, I will figure out where it will start and be there by that date. As you can see, it's pretty wiggly. This is going to be all mountains up here. A mixture of mountains and flat stuff here. Probably a little bit of both here. I've made this drive on I-90. Basically, it looks like that's kind of what it follows here. So it's kind of hilly through this part of Wyoming, hilly in western South Dakota when you start to get into the Black Hills where Mount Rushmore is. And then, once I get past the Black Hills, should be much easier. Much flatter. Let's just say that. I don't know if any part of it will be easy, but as you can see, if I kind of go in here, look at this day, that's a 50-mile day. It looks fairly flat. So that's good. But it's hard to tell, but I will be going through valleys essentially. I'm not going to be climbing many passes. I will have to probably do a couple passes, in Washington, Idaho, northern Idaho. Actually, not Washington. It'll be not northern Idaho. We've got 4th of July Pass, Independence Pass. This looks like this is where the mountains are going to be. And these are going to be the hard days. And so if we look at this ride, I think it will. So there's the elevation. So it's basically 20 miles up, 20 miles down. And it looks like you don't get much relief for 20 miles. 4,800 foot elevation gain incline of about, looks like it might top out I thought I saw 15. Yep, 15 percent incline, which will be hard, but doesn't look too bad until you start to get here, and then it gets pretty crazy, and then it's downhill. So this is what I'm using to plan my routes or my route, and I will take a look at each route. Ideally, I would love to really stay on trails. I know that the Centennial Trail that goes through Liberty Lake goes from Northwest Spokane all the way to Coeur d'Alene, maybe a little past Coeur d'Alene. And I would like to stay on that as much as possible. Any other trails I can find, that's how I will be adjusting my route, and trying to avoid cars as much as possible. There may be some gravel spots or rough spots. I do have a gravel bike, or a bike that's capable of being a gravel bike, that I will get ready for gravel prior to the ride. So in the beginning phases of getting this thing planned out, it's starting to come together. Really January 25th, when the RAGBRAI route is announced, will I be able to then really dig in and finish the planning of the route. So looking forward to that part. It's really fun to see it come together and see kind of what my days will entail. Yeah, stay tuned. And I will keep you updated as I make any changes and update this.